Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the Locker Room. Part 3 for me the Super Bowl weekend. Last night I had the ladies on. I just had some of the coaches on. And I got my NFL guys on tonight. A couple of them are out in Las Vegas. And one of them is in Miami. We're waiting on a couple other of the Gainesville guys to show up. But I got some Florida Gators. And I got some Nicholls State on. Welcome to the Locker Room. I got my first guest. This guy, man, I'm telling you, man, you made a great impact on my life when you coached us in the spring as far as receiving. I learned so much stuff from you. I took it and I coached high school football for 10 years, and I used that three-step weave, that three-step you taught me. I taught that, and I got kids today who 55 years old still telling me that. That was the best thing they ever learned. Meet Wes Chandler. Wes, talk to the folks.
Pleasure to be here. Absolutely excited to be with you, and more importantly, the guys on here. I have a great deal of appreciation for their work ethics and certainly the fact that they've been able to play this game. And so we come to you today with a different view than the ladies may have.
down to the bottom with the hoodie on. Yeah. I didn't know he was old enough to shave, really. When I knew him, the first time I met him, he was 6 years old. Down there in Wellington, I did a football camp, and he came out dressed in the real Miami Dolphin uniform. He was 6. Mr. John Boston. No, and he just got the third. Just was born recently. What's up, JB?
And I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Good to see you there, man.
Glad to be on here.
All right, my next guest, I met him. It's incredible how I met him. I was a phys ed teacher down in Homestead, Florida, and I had a second grader come to me one day after I called the roll and said, "Coach," tapped me on my shoulder. Coach. I was like, "What, man? My daddy played pro football." I said, "Boy, get the hell out of here. Your daddy ain't play no pro football." He said, Google him. So I Googled Antonio Robinson. And I saw that, he played with Chicago Bears, went to Nicholls State, went here and there. And that afternoon, I had bus detail. And one of those, with the Dodge Charger, they hear me? Great. Camaro. Drove up. Got out, and I met this young man right here, Antonio Robinson. He and I have done some ministry. I mean, we did ministry in Fellowship of Christian Athletes in Miami. You're gonna hear his testimony. But tonight, I got 2 more guys coming. Let's see what I got. Ernie Mills, and I got let's see. Ernie, you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me? What's up, fellas?
What's up, boy?
How you doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, coming in from Northern Florida. Hey, one of the fastest Florida Gators ever.
Oh, man.
Pittsburgh Steeler, Dallas Cowboy, Mr. Ernie Mills. Welcome to the Locker Room, Ernie.
Oh, thank you for having me, Darren. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing, man?
Hey, man, it's almost back week. I talked to Bruce today, man. He said, you better be here for back week.
Oh, man. I had to fire it up. Right on over.
Yeah. Hey, we got a great cast, man, and I know it's a lot of knowledge on here, and because my big brother Wes is on, I'm gonna let Wes go first. Wes Chandler, he was an all-state wide receiver at New Smyrna Beach, played at University of Florida, wore number 89. My favorite receiver was a guy named Carlos Alvarez, because I remember him wearing number 89 with the one-bar face mask with the orange jersey. But Wes went to University of Florida, man, was all-world, played with the Saints. I had an opportunity to meet Wes. He came to Bethune-Cookman when I was playing wide receiver, and he taught me the passing game. He opened my eyes on some stuff. I wasn't that fast. I run a mean curl and a mean comeback because of Wes. Wes, welcome to the Locker Room.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here with you. I'm not that old. Is that the reason why you allow me to go first?
Yeah.
Is that it? Jonathan wasn't born when I started playing, so is that it?
Hey, Wes played in the first real open passing game. He played with John Jefferson, Air Coryell, that wide open game. Tell us about that game, man.
Well, for us, we sort of invented several things. We also invented the high five. People didn't know that, but we did that. We invented that. The head coach invented the I formation. People didn't know that, Don Coryell. And we were the first team ever to use 5 receivers. And so today, everybody uses 5 receivers. Everybody gets out and try and get everybody out into the route. And it was a lot of fun. It was exciting. But more importantly, it taught me how to become a student of the game. You don't have to be the biggest, the fastest, or the strongest. You just need that one opportunity to get that one rep to show that you're fundamentally sound. Fundamentals wins when you're playing receiver. It always does, and I always continue to do so.
I have another guy joining us. Where is he? I got my little cousin, Ricky the Rocket Natil. Hey, we gotta pause the program right now. I know, Wes, I know you up. We gotta pause the program because my bro is in the house. What's up, Ricky the Rocket?
What's up, fam?
Hey, cause this is my show. I'm gonna do this. You remember the first time we ever met, Rick?
It's been a minute. But first, I got concussions, so I can't remember stuff right now.
see, that's what Wes talking about. But I'm gonna bring it back to your remembrance. Watch this. Your freshman year, the Gators played in the Gator Bowl, but y'all practiced at Mainland High School.
Yes.
I walked up to you. I had heard about you. And matter of fact, you look just like me in a uniform. We twins in a uniform. But anyway, I walked up to you and I just dropped my driver's license in front of you. It had Daryl Natil. You looked at me like, I said, we cousins.
If your last name Natil, we gotta be related.
The next time I saw you was in Miami. When I was living in Miami, you came down, you did some football camps, and you were coaching at Trinity High School, and y'all won a state championship, and you were one of the big catalysts. You and
Curran Bell.
Colin Bell.
Them boys from Newberry, man.
Newberry.
We old country boys.
Hey, this podcast ain't got no order. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be crazy. Hey man, I want you to know something, man. I love you, man, because you opened my eye. Hey, you didn't know anything about me. I was you before you was you. When you came about, I was like, that boy bad. But I was already bad before you was. All right, we're gonna move on the other side. I got a young man on the line named Antonio Robinson. Antonio didn't play for the Florida. I met Antonio, like I said, I met him. His son was in my PE class. And I met Antonio. He has an incredible story. You just released a book too. What's the name of your book?
Pain is necessary.
Okay. Quickly, tell us a little bit about who you are and your story before don't get too deep in it. We'll come back to it.
I mean, quick story in a nutshell. Grew up in Miami, Florida. Went to South Dade High School. My mom was on drugs. Never had my dad in my life. So pretty much a struggling childhood life. And I was sent to jail. I was homeless. Never had a high school diploma. Managed to go to college. Played in the NFL. Went the JUCO route. Played in the NFL. Won a Super Bowl. So throughout all of that, man, pain is necessary. So not to give it all. If you want to find out everything, you got to buy the book.
All right. So I want to pull the meat out of the book.
Right.
There's a chapter that talks about some guys breaking into your house, stealing your Super Bowl jersey with the logo on it.
Right.
The guy who stole it, you prayed about it. The guy who stole it brought it back, then get run over by a car and die.
No, so he didn't get ran over. Yeah, so the dude that broke in the house, he actually went to high school with me. Him and a couple of his buddies broke in my house. They took everything, but the main thing that stood out was the jersey. And so, I prayed about it. And of course, everybody that live in the hood, you always got somebody in your family that's crazy. So one of my family members was ready to do something. I said, I can't do that route, man. So I prayed and I went in prayer for 6 months about it. And eventually God brought the guy to me. And literally the dude waved my car down. the Camaro I had. He waved it down, and he tried to talk me down as far as numbers. He was trying to sell me back my jersey. He said, "Look, I know who got it. I give you two." He said, "Give me 2,000." He talked it all the way down to like 5,000. I mean, $500. So I told him, I said, "Look, man, you can keep the jersey." He denied he had it, and I said, "I prayed about it already, man. So if you want to keep it, keep it. God gonna take care of everything." Then his voice broke up on the phone, and he said, "Man, the devil been riding my back for a week. You can have his jersey back." So I got my jersey back. I offered him to come to church with me. He turned it down. The next day, he called my phone. He said, "Hey, pick me up for church." On the day of him, he came to church with me. Then he went up on an altar call. Before he went up, he went outside. He was smoking a cigarette. He was shaking. So I was able to witness all of this, and it was just amazing to really see how God was manifesting in my life through this whole situation. And the man he went up and he got saved, man. And a year later, he got shot 14 times by AK-47 by one of his friends.
Wow.
So what I got out of that whole story was unconditional love. That we can love people unconditionally, and when we allow God to come in our lives, and we obey God, and just following God, taking the word and really applying it to your life, you're able to see the manifestation. So that's what I got out of it.
That's an amazing story. And I didn't want to hit you guys with it from the beginning, but I've been trying to get Antonio on here for like 2 months, so I had to let him tell his story. But I got another guy on. His dad played football with me at Bethune-Cookman University, JB2, John Bostic, linebacker, war number 1 at Florida. When you were number 1, that means you the one, right? At Florida.
We done got away from that a little bit, but back when I played, that was kind of tradition, for that number. So, I always wore single digit, in high school and all that stuff, and I was gonna do it when I got to college. But when I came in, there was a bunch of dogs in there. You had Spikes, you had, from AJ Jones to Ryan Stamper and all those guys, just in linebacker core. I was gonna have to wait my turn. I was gonna have to earn my turn, and I waited my turn. I earned it. I took over my sophomore year and never looked back.
We got 2 guys on here wore 89. Wore the real number 89. Please stand up. We had Ricky Natil and Ricky the Rocket. Hey, the night before the Super Bowl. What is that like? I know you played in the Super Bowl. Ernie played in the Super Bowl. Antonio, you caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Hold on, before we go to that, let me tell you a story. Last night I had a lady on I had an all ladies panel on, and we talked about the Super Bowl. She has a daughter named Aubrey Natil Smith. She named her daughter after Aubrey Matthews, and when you caught that touchdown in the Super Bowl, her middle name came to be Natil. I got a young lady who's now 32, 33 years old named Aubrey Natil Smith after you. Her mom was on last night. So tell us about Ricky Natil and what he's doing.
Well, let's talk about that Super Bowl first of all.
Yeah, let's talk about that first.
That was my rookie year, but I can tell the story leading up to that. I was kind of tired going into that game because the Broncos, Dan Reeves, he was real lenient. He let us bring.
Where'd he go?
That locked me out of my room.
What?
What? Say it again.
I'm not. Yeah,
you gotta say it again because you went.
I know. The night before the Super Bowl, locked me out of my room. So now they're doing curfew check. Our coach is coming down the hall. I'm banging trying to get it.
You banging trying to get in the room. Okay. Oh, come on, Rick.
Yeah, he might have to reconnect.
Yeah. Are you there? We got to hear this story here.
He's in a bad place. I think we all know.
Hey, you need to go in the house with Tammy.
Got locked out.
Hey, tell Tammy to let you have some of that water she got in the house.
Oh, man.
We gonna come. Hold up, Rick. You back, Rick? Ernie, that's your boy, Ernie. You hit golf balls with him. What's up with him?
Got my back.
Okay, you back?
You back, Rick?
That's about done.
You got to start over. Rick. The real number 89, it must be West Chandler.
No,
Oh yeah,
Back.
my buddy there,
Back. I was tired. I'm a
Ricky.
rookie.
That's my buddy.
I'm a rookie trying to live a Super Bowl life, and I get locked out of my room. But so make a long story short, the night went over well. Game day. Let's get the game day. I'm being a rookie because I'm tired all night because I've been up all night. It's a long night. I can't even tell y'all what happened when I got in that room. I got it. Yeah. So you brothers, y'all can use your imagination. It's a long night. But luckily I'm a rookie, so I got a lot of energy. So I'm good. But no, the experience, man, it's one of those experiences you can't explain. It's something you never even dream about. You think about. You finally get the opportunity to play in it, and as a rookie, I was actually started as a receiver. So it's one of those kind of feelings that, like I said, if you haven't been there, which Antonio's been there, so he knows the feeling. If you haven't played in it, obviously you don't know the feeling. It's one of those things you can't explain. The whole world's watching. You get your name called, you run out the tunnel, you're excited. It's one of those things that probably the first 3-4 minutes of the game I probably don't remember. But the one thing I do remember is the very first play of the game, we called, and West Chandler knows this route, the favorite 9 route. And it's kind of like, we're going to run the what? The first play of the game was Dan Reeves, very conservative coach. But we calls this 9 route, so again, I'm being the rookie, playing against an experienced cornerback. So, now I got to keep my composure because as a receiver, you get excited. 9 route, you're going to run to the line of scrimmage, you're going to give it away. So, of course, I jog out there like the whole home run play. I'm all along, I'm trying to set this guy up. What's his name? Was it Wilburn? I think his last name was Wilburn. I can't remember.
Wilburn.
I got concussions, man. I got these concussions.
We all do. All of us got it.
But I think I know it's number 45. I think I can't remember his last name, but I tried to set the play up like an experienced guy would be, which I wasn't experienced. I'm a rookie. So I had a long night, I ain't got no sleep. Everything I was doing, I'm flogging, trying to set this up. And like I said, I gave him a little move. I got behind, the ball's up. Perfect throw from John Elway. I make the catch. And as a rookie, I think at the time I had just turned 22. I think I might have been the youngest player to catch a touchdown in the Super Bowl at the time.
You were.
Touchdown at the time. And so it's one of those kind of deals where you want to keep the ball. And I got caught up in the moment. And if you see the highlight, it might be the worst spike you will ever see.
Or you spiked it.
I was going to spike it, but I remembered, oh, shit, I need to keep this ball. And I got caught up in the middle, and it was a half spike. The ball hit the ground. I don't think I ever got it back, but by then I got mobbed. And then the rest is history because Doug Williams drugged us after that.
Yeah. Doug Williams' niece was on my other show last night. It's incredible I had these people on. But that's an incredible moment, man, for you. And I know your buddy over there on your left, your golfing buddy, who always come to Daytona when you don't come, Ernie Mills. Ernie, you played in the Super Bowl. Tell us about it, man.
Yeah.
You had some catches in the Super Bowl.
I went into the Super Bowl on a high note because I passed at the 9 route. Well, it wasn't a 9 route. It was out none. And we scored.
Hey, everybody mute yourself while he's talking because we got somebody that got feedback. Everybody just mute yourself. We're going to let Ernie talk. Go ahead, Ernie.
Yeah, and we scored right after it. And, everybody spending most of the time talking about Jim Harbaugh, Hail Mary. But I went in on a high note going to that Super Bowl. So I was ready. I knew it was going to be – I got my fun out the way, Rick. The first two nights there. Oh. Yeah, so I worked all around curfew those 2 nights, but I got on it. I knew everybody's gonna be watching, and being from Newberry like Dunellen, so I knew I wouldn't be able to hear it if I screwed up. Everybody in Dunellen was gonna be on me. So yeah, and I ended up having a good game. I had high and lows, man. I had a good game. I had 8 catches, 7-something yards. Also returned kicks that game. And then my last catch tore my ACL in the fourth quarter. About 10 minutes left in the game. So I had highs and lows, and then of course we played Dallas, and we lost the game to Dallas, their third Super Bowl. But we definitely had a chance to win that game. But it ain't no feeling like it. I played in 2 AFC Championship games. Those are huge games because the final results. If you win, you win. And but it ain't nothing knowing that this is the very last game and you give it everything. You gotta leave it all out there on the field.
Okay.
Period. I love it. I still like this time. Every time this time come around, this is what I think about is that game because it ain't nothing like it.
I don't want to be mean when I ask this question, but Wes, you played for the Aints, and John, you played for the Commanders. That's the flip side of what these two guys talked about.
Let me clear 89. Wes was the first 89 I see. I watched this route. But I went to Florida as a cornerback. I redshirted at corner. I used to cover Ricky. Ricky used to run by me over there on the scout team. So Ricky is the 89, and I wore 14.
You wore 14, right?
Yeah, I wore 14 in Florida, and they gave me 89 in Pittsburgh, and had to make it work. But them two, the original 89, man, that's Ricky the Rocket. That's Wes.
I tried to show Wes. Listen, Wes.
That's Chandler. Put the foot in the ground and break.
Wes laid the foundation for 89, so I had some big shoes to fill. But ain't nobody did nothing in 4 from 89 after me. I'm kind of disappointed.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Wes set the standard. You set the standard, Wes.
Yeah.
That was really, you guys don't even know how that came about, do you?
I have no idea.
When I came out of New Smyrna, I was a running back, and I wore the number 33. And the guy that recruited me to go to Florida, you know how they have the Gator Getters, and they have a girl or two.
Them Gator Getters, boy, they'll get you.
Well, I go for my official recruiting visit, and the guy spends about 20 minutes with me. He's got his pockets full, right? They're expecting me to sign, and he takes me to get something to eat, me and my girl, and takes me back to the Hilton. Says, I'll see you in the morning. I'm like, what? I'll see you in the morning. Now, at that time, this guy was the best running back at Florida. He wore the number 33. So we talked about that a little bit. Me wearing 30. No, it was Nat Moore.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Nat Moore.
Nat recruited me to go to Florida. And so when I got to Florida, he was drafted back home in Miami with the Dolphins. And you know what number he wore, right? In Miami.
What's that? 89.
89.
So I got there. I said, you know what? I'll get you back. I'll improve this number. Since you got a number down there, we still have this debate going on with 33. And now I'm going to be a receiver. He's going to be a receiver. So we both changed positions. We both wore the same number. I get to Florida. I changed to 89. He gets to Miami, changed to 89. And it was on. So, and it was just one of those things. I love Nat to this day. He's been near and dear and a great friend. But I hated that number when I first got there. But I said, just because Nat, out of spite, I wanted to get him back, and we were going to have this battle throughout our professional career, and that's what it was about.
This dude's not a Gator, but when I watched the receivers for the Packers, no, he's clean cut now, but he wore the dreads. Antonio, what were the 3 receivers that played after you that looked just like you when you played?
Devontae Adams.
You look just like Devontae Adams, bro.
Yeah, he had the same number and everything.
17.
But the crazy thing about 89, that's the number I was at Nickel State.
What? Oh. I got a bunch of 89s in here.
I was 89 at Nickel State. They gave me the number. And I hated it too. I was like, they just threw number 89 to me. But see what I left UL. I walked on to UL Lafayette, and then they didn't want to give me a scholarship. And then after that, I had a partial scholarship at Nichols, so I was last minute guy. Then they gave me a full ride, and it was like, it's the last number we got, man, 89. And I ran with it.
So my question is,
so it's something about
how do you go from not getting a high school diploma to riding a bicycle with a kid on your back at the Packers camp?
Relentless,
how do you do that?
Man. Just being relentless. Just taking it, man. Just Just I wish a lot of coaches can recruit kids like me, because kids like me, we ain't got nothing. So it's a lot of kids that's in the hood. They don't have that mama and that daddy, man. Them kids hungry. So those are the most determined, relentless people. They want it. So and that's the only thing I can really say, man. Just I was just relentless.
All right, you say the word relentless. This young man playing linebacker for the Chicago Bears preseason decleated a guy. I mean, John Boston. Tell us about your time with Chicago, and that one play sealed your fate in the NFL. I know it did.
Obviously,
Look at him going to be humble now. He's going to be humble.
I was humble when they brought me upstairs and gave me that FedEx. So right after the game, I'm like, man, how y'all gonna find me 25,000? Y'all ain't gave me 25,000. But that was obviously that was a play that I knew I could play at this level, but this showed me that I can really play at this level, and I can be myself. Obviously the game changed a little bit as I played my time throughout the league. Coming into the league, I was in the last couple years where you could still hit people, and then that stuff kind of started fading out, and now it's kind of a ankle biters league, like from that side. And I think it's still battles with in the game, but it's definitely changed a lot and it's evolved a lot. But I mean that was going back to that play. I just remember even right after coaches coming and saying like, look, we love that you did this at the University of Florida the whole time you were there, but it's the NFL, like it's a fraternity. We don't do that anymore. I'm kind of just looking at people like, I'm 20, getting ready to turn 21 years old, and I'm like, what you mean? I still even remember being in the game with Julius Peppers, and I was kind of getting mad at some of the guys. I called the plays, so I'm kind of mad at some of our D linemen. I'm kind of pushing them back like in the huddle. They kind of talking to the other team, and it was different for me. It was weird, and then Pep had to pull me to the side. Was like, hey, young buck, like you got to realize like everybody take care of each other's family. Kind of like what you mean? Like, it's just a different game than what I, was used to growing up. The way I was taught to play the game, you take somebody's
Don't
will
let
when they
them
come
women
from.
hear this, because they talked about this last night. I want to go over to Rick, because Rick was one of the three amigos. Vance Johnson. What's the other brother name?
Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson. Do you still talk with them fellas?
I still talk to Mark, from time to time. Vance was, he was a different kind of brother. He was a different kind of brother.
Sure was.
Y'all. I think he had about 6, 7 wives. He was different. Good dude, great player, but off the field, he was different. But it is what it is. I love him to death. He's a great guy, great teammate. He's got your back. But off the field, he's a little different, brother. But like I said, I'm sure y'all probably seen this tour where he did his talks about, while he was doing what he's doing with his wives. He was that's his business. But he was a great teammate on the football field. He can make it happen. He's tough. He's fast. Like I said, we played football back then, dude. If I could play football now, I can't even really watch this stuff right now. I mean,
nope.
I can't even watch it. I mean,
nope.
It's I can't
it's
even
flag. It's Pro Bowl football.
Yeah. So, but the Pro Bowl with the flag, I think that's the best thing they can do, because that's kind of how they're playing now anyway.
Yeah. Entertainment.
All right. Rick, when you first came on, you kept talking about, you got head injuries and stuff. Wes has helped a lot of former players. Wes even helped me. I'm gonna give Wes an opportunity to talk about that, the science behind what you're doing with the injuries, Wes.
Sure, be more than happy to. The CTE and the TBI, traumatic brain injury. The most common TBI, traumatic brain injury, is concussion, and even for the military, it's relative to the game of football. Repetitive head trauma is basically what it is. And for the military, you don't have to have been in the war. It's just the concussive forces of bombs going off next to an individual or their Humvee flipping over. It rattles the brain. And the problem I have had with the National Football League, I was an executive committee member. You guys can relate to that. I was also a player rep. My entire professional career, 11 years that I played it. And before you guys came into the league, we were a union before we became an association. I went through 2 strikes, 82 and 87. And even though we were fighting for free agency, you all understand today the reason why they did not want to give it was because they were on revenue share. They still are today, because you couldn't make them any more money than they were already making. The TV contracts, all of those things are shared, even the gate receipts. They played an even number of games back then, 14, then it evolved to 16. And so they played, 8 at home, 8 on the road. It's a 60-40 split, if you didn't know that, for the gate receipts.
Mm-hmm.
And so because they were on revenue share, we could not break that mold. But to get back to the repetitive head trauma, they can change the rules and they can change the equipment, as you and I both know. We all know that, right?
Right.
But 2 things have to happen. And because we have defensive players on here too, the ball has to be kicked or it has to be snapped. When the ball doesn't move, everybody's fine. But the moment it's snapped or if it's kicked, the green light turns. When the stationary is red, when it's snapped or kicked, it turns green. And only 2 things happen: hit or be hit. And this is where the repetitive head trauma starts to come. The blows, we don't know sometimes where they're coming from. And it's not as people try and say, well, it's a collision sport. No, it's not contact, it's collision. It's violent. And you all know that. Just like you were talking about your hit in Chicago. It's violent. And sometimes you don't know if this is going to be your first play for a long career or your last play for a short career. And when you look at your pension, 55 is when you get it. You may play 10 years or 10 plus. You come in the league at 22. I think most of you came in at that time. Then you're 31, 32 when you retire, and you double figures. And now you have to wait 20 more years to get your pension. And your pension is not worth anything by the time you get it, and your health has been on the line. What they told us, you wouldn't live past 57 as a football player because of the violence in the game, right? So here's this camouflage that we all are faced with even today, that as we grow older, we have 2 things that come to the forefront, and it comes on the table. The first thing is we have what's called deteriorating injuries. And I'm sure all of you feel those injuries right now, right? Some of those old injuries,
Yeah.
Okay, it comes to you, deteriorating injuries. Then there is memory loss because of brain aging. As we get older, we start to lose some of that focus, okay? And so when you had these repetitive head traumas, your brain, if it has not been given anything for type of treatment, then it's getting older and it may speed up because of brain aging. But all of your neurons, which actually runs your brain, you used to hear Tiger Woods talk about being in the alignment, your A game. That means your neurons are perfectly aligned. But when your neurons get too far to the right, that means you're hyper. When they're too far to the left, that means you slowing down certain parts of the brain. That includes your speech, your ability to comprehend, apprehend things, right? And so the characteristics, the biggest one is memory loss, right? And because we played this sport, we have too much pride, because guess what? We were never told to say that we could be defeated. Weakness was not in our vocabulary. So now that you've all retired, it's hard to admit that we need help. It's the hardest thing in the world to do. I went through it. I ended up showing that I had Parkinson's tremors. I didn't want nobody to know because I played that game. I was never going to show a sign of weakness. But then I realized I had got that knock on my door personally. God said, hey, you're going to die if you don't. Because what was sneaking in, creeping into the door when I realized I had Parkinson's tremors was depression, which was the next characteristics of having repetitive head trauma. Depression leads to what, guys? You already know, suicide. And you don't really hear that among Black people, let alone Black athletes, right? But when you had brain damage and your neurons are not aligned, that's what starts to happen. So I started WCTE for the whole purpose of giving us an opportunity for better quality of life. And that's what this is all about. And I hate it when I see people that we know, played with, played against. We're all in one fraternity. There are 24,000 of us, and everyone is going to eventually become one of us. And so the resources that you need to have is there, right? It's there for you to get this treatment to help you. And if you don't, essentially, it's like one of our alumni, right? They thought he was crazy when he started killing people and carrying on, right? Aaron Hernandez. He was 27 years old, but he had the brain of a 67-year-old man. That's brain aging. And he went through all of these characteristics. Okay? And so while it may not have been his fault, and we don't agree with some of the things that he did in his life, he was not in control. He was not in control, guys. And so I wake up every day, not because I have issues, and I'm proud to admit that I have those problems. And I do that because I want people like me, like yourselves, to be billboards in our communities, because we're not the only ones that suffer from TBI and concussions, that over time, if not treated, you're going to have issues. Kids, gymnastics, hockey, boxing.
Oh, boxing, yeah.
Of course.
Rick, you work in the medical field, right, Rick?
Yeah, I'm a medical device rep. That is correct.
Tell us about what you do.
Well, my biggest call points are heart surgeons, spine surgeons. So I work for a company called Baxter Healthcare, and what I sell is hemostasis products. So basically, I got a product where you can take it out the box, you can open it up on the table, and it'll do the exact same thing your body does to form a clot. So basically, a lot of times, when they're operating, like I said, the biggest thing is what operating. They got to get the bleeding stopped. So, like I said, I got products that's going to get the bleeding stopped. Thrombin, fibrinogen, same thing. Your body does a form a clot. They open it up, you use it on the table. So, like I said, those are my biggest call points. And the company I'm with now, I've been with for going on my 11th year with it. It's a good living. We're saving lives. That's kind of what I like about it. Like I said, these surgeons, it's kind of like football players. These guys are good, man. They are amazing. When operating room, it's nothing like being in the operating room and you're standing right there. Say when heart surgeons and they take that saw and they crack the chest.
Wow.
You go in and work. There's nothing like actually seeing it. There's nothing like seeing a heart transplant where they take the bad heart out, sit it on the table, and put the new heart in. Like I said, these guys like us, they're professionals. But the craziest part about it is when you're in the operating room with them, while they're working, they want to talk about football. So just to go to show you, what we're giving the people is professional athletes. They want to talk about football while they're working. So it's like the most amazing thing. I'm like, okay, let me sit and watch this guy. He's sitting there saving somebody's life, taking the heart out, and he want to talk about football. But it helps them while they're working. So it's an amazing thing to see it. Like I said, these guys, they're awesome. But and one thing Wes said on that strike, Wes, I was with you on that 87 strike, by the way, not to change the subject. That was my rookie year. So I get what you're talking about, my brother. I went on strike my rookie year in 87. So trying to fight for what's right. It is what it is. But like I said, I understand everything you're saying. The NFL, these concussions, man, it's a joke. It's a joke. It's like I said, I just got my results back. You know what they told me? No impairment. I've been fighting this thing about 10 years now. What I want to say is, because I'm able to work, what the hell you want me to do? I mean, I got to live, but you don't walk in my shoes. You don't know when I go in my house how many times I may walk back out my door to my car because I forgot something. And it pisses me off when these doctors, which ain't them making money off this shit, excuse my French, they're just making money off of it. Every time they see us, they're getting paid. They ain't doing it for free.
Right.
They're not doing this for free. They're in their pocket. They're in their pocket. And I want to tell them, you don't walk in my shoes, dude. I'm doing this job. I'm blessed to have this job, but shit, I got to live. They want us to be like fucking vegetables. They want us to walk around like vegetables. Stupid, dumb, barefooted, and ignorant. But then it's too late. It's too late then. It's like I said, I get real upset and I get real emotional when I talk about it. It just drives me crazy. Like I said, man, when I bless my food, I'm to the point where I do it 3 times, but I don't know that I blessed it. It's funny, but it's not funny. It's like when when we do these BAP tests.
I'm laughing. I'm right there with you, boy.
When we do these BAP tests, we don't want to show weakness because that's how we were trained.
Right.
We were gladiators. We're not weak. We're gladiators. We're not weak. We don't show weakness. So when we're doing this test, I want to show them, no, I'm good.
That's right.
But the other side of it is, they're going to think I'm faking.
That's right. Yeah.
You can't win. It drives me crazy. And we're gladiators, and they're gonna make us be gladiators, and we're gonna start hurting people. But then it's gonna be too late. It's gonna be too late.
Ernie, I met your dad parked in my yard back. We parked that big trailer, and we drank a case of Will I Run.
Yep.
We did.
Yep. We did.
But you know what impressed me about you, my brother? You hit that little white ball.
Yep.
And you told me that you play a little bit with Rick and
No,
the concentration that it takes, and you always on an even keel.
Rick
What
can
is
play
it about you that's like that, man? Why are you so cool?
It's the way I've always been, man. I can't. Yeah, it's probably more like my mom's dad, my granddad. I grew up around him. He did everything slow. He walked everything, ate slow, moved slow. So it's just in me. But as far as golf, man, no, man, Ricky can play. Now. Ricky can play. I just go out there.
Ricky hit that ball.
Oh yeah,
the little white thing, man.
Yeah, Ricky.
As 2 sports, I like cornhole and golf.
Yeah, cornhole too.
Cornhole. I bet you be crazy in the parking lot in the pregame. You be killing them folk out there. Taking their money and taking their food.
And his wife can play cornhole too. Don't let that
Taylor can play.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, let's flip the script a minute. I played football with a guy from Tylersville Astronaut. My name was Jonathan Bostic. JB, your dad. Very smart, very intelligent. I'm not saying you guys not smart. Went into pharmacy, played in the NFL, and then he got a son by the name of JB too. JB, you're doing a lot in the community. You and I talk, man. When we talked at Bethune-Cookman, man, I just wanted to hug you, man. Because I remember you as a kid, like I came to that football camp when you were 6 years old, dressed like a Miami Dolphin. But there's a lot of things that you're doing that's positive. Talk to the folks about what you're doing.
Yeah, man. It's we were all fortunate enough to be able to go live a dream, and sports is forever evolving. You know, um, some in a good way, a lot in a bad way, and sports tourism has gotten so out of hand these last couple of years, and adults are figuring out just how we were. I mean, Rick, you were just hitting on this, just how we can be, monetized off of, for so long. And we don't ever really get a chance to benefit, from that stuff. We go out there, we making these billionaires, more and more and more money, but then it's like when we walk away, they're walking away with free healthcare, for them and their family. They're walking away getting taken care of in so many different types of ways. And all we getting is a plaque and one of our jerseys and maybe a helmet depending on what team you play for, and we supposed to be good with that, so um it's definitely tough, seeing all that stuff, and for us, when I first started this kind of vision and goal that I wanted to do of building this $38 million facility down in West Palm Beach, Florida. It was to help more kids get out of their situation, help more kids be able to go and have a chance to live a dream. Like you said, you were talking about that camp, years ago, and it's crazy because growing up, like those are all the names that I knew. I listened, and it was like, so to see all these guys, out here, having fun with us, sharing a little bit of their journey and, teaching us a couple things, meant the world. And it's like, you see a lot of these kids still to this day, they talk about that camp still, and it's like, I don't know how many years, later this was, but it's like, you look at this far, this long ago, and these kids are still talking about that camp and, what, you guys meant coming out and doing that for them. And it's especially to that magnitude, there hasn't been, many camps in that area that have, brought out that many kids really since, which is huge. But, I saw so much just how sports was going. And I see so many of these kids that, Antonio, you were talking about, a lot of these kids coming out from the inner city that don't have anywhere to go or whatever. And you're right. Those are the kids that, you go and you take a chance on them. Those are the ones that usually end up making it. That was Urban's way. He recruited him. For us, it's like, we want to give everybody the chance to be able to go and do whatever that is. We get phased out of baseball because baseball is so expensive right now.
Mm-hmm.
But at my facility, kids that look like me, kids that look like us, they want to come in and play baseball. They're going to play baseball. My foundation will take care of everything, from top to bottom, to give those kids an opportunity, to be able to gain the mindset, the skill set that they need to be successful in that sport. And so this vision kind of kept growing and growing and growing. At first, it started off as a training facility, and then we started taking a step back, was just like, this is, really good to be a training facility, but it's like, we're still missing a point. It's like, we can train these kids all the way up until they're in 8th grade. Now what? We turn them over to some of these high school coaches that have never really played the game before. They're just fans, and a lot of these high school coaches, they're seeing these dollar signs on these kids.
Yep.
They're trying to represent them in all this NIL stuff and, trying to ride these, kid waves. Like, for me, like, I don't need that money. I made my money. I'm making my money. I'm good. My thing is, I want to give the next kid an opportunity to be able to go and do what I did, times 10. And, so as this thing kind of kept developing, it turned into an academy. So it's an academy during the day. So this is basically IMG. I'm opening up IMG on the East Coast of Florida. And, when those kids leave and, we hit the afternoon when a lot of the public school, kids are getting, that's when AU teams and stuff coming in. So we'll have our own teams. It's an amazing facility. It's the first of its kind in the country. Like I said, it's a $38 million facility.
Wow.
And it's going to be big. When we really announce all the details to this thing, people aren't going to believe what we did. Just to be able to help the kids.
I'm gonna tell you a quick story. When you were a kid, I was a broadcaster for Bethune-Cookman. I did sideline, interviewing the coaches, and I got stepped on at the Florida Classic. I tore my Achilles because a linebacker stepped on my foot, and I didn't know I had a torn Achilles for 2 months. But the young man Antonio Robinson tore his Achilles, and it took him to a whole nother route of training. He has a brand now where he has sweatbands. Antonio, tell us about that road from tearing your Achilles, doing track, to where you are now. You unmute yourself.
Yeah, so I tore my Achilles during COVID. I'm a trainer down here in Miami, Florida. I was training these two guys at FAU. During that time they were trying to keep everybody in their house. I'm a busybody, man. I can't stay still. I gotta use this energy. So the two guys that I was training, they was attending FAU, and it was like, look, we can use that facility. So I went out there, and I'm running my routes, feeling like I still got it. I'm in good shape. I ran professional track too right after football, and so I'm like, man, I still got it, man. So I ended up tearing my Achilles and tore that mother like 99%. I had like a string attached to it, but it was real bad. But I actually tore it twice that same year, walking upstairs in my house, and I slipped after a Dallas Cowboy game. They lost.
Bernie.
I mean, they lost the game. That's why I tore it again. But
Hey, West Coast there.
yeah, but so I didn't do any surgery on it, and the doctors they was kind of like pissed off low key because that's a lot of money. So I didn't do surgery. I cast it up. I went the natural route, did a lot of research on it before I made my decision, and my leg healed up really good. Like right now, I'm running. I can dunk. I can do everything. I can run full speed. I feel amazing just going the natural route. So I encourage. I mean, if you still trying to play the game, I encourage you to probably get surgery. But if you not, you get an injury, go the natural route if possible. I eat good. I don't smoke or drink, so I was able to heal properly. Also, the other thing that I got is the Tony bands. So, when we was playing, we wore a lot of wristbands. A lot of kids now they got the soul hoodies. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that in the 707 round. They got the shades. You guys see me with some shades on right now. These are 0% shades. I work with this company called Los Reds in Miami. We make shades for Tyreek Hill, Zay Flowers, Tank Dell, all those fire shades y'all been seeing. I don't know if y'all been seeing them, but we make those shades for those guys. And so we came out with another brand called Tony Bands, which we let the guys wear the wristbands where they're able to embrace pretty much express their feelings or whatever they want to say through a band. So we got verses. I had one nice little story. A kid came up to me. He had got the John 3:16 and he didn't know what it said. So he was like, "Hey coach, man, is this John Madden?" And I made him Google it, and he looked it up. He read it, so it was nice. That video went viral. So it's a way just to really target the young community because those kids are praised right now. Everybody praying on them. The music industry, TV. So I say, you know what? Instead of me talking and complaining about it, let me get involved in this and see how can I get into the social media realm. So we got videos on the Tony Band page. Some of them hit 150,000. Some hit 200,000, and they're great videos to really just to inspire these kids through bands, whatever that I can get their attention and inspire them and wake them up, man, so they won't be lost out here.
All right, tomorrow we got Super Bowl in Las Vegas. Wes, you in Las Vegas or you in California?
No, I'm right here in the signature at MGM.
You at MGM?
Yeah, man.
Show me the water outside. Show me the water.
Can't hide money, huh?
Oh man, I'm not gonna do that.
Can't
Hey.
hide money.
Wes,
Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
me why the 49ers are so dominant. I mean, Debo, you got McAllister, you got them nasty linebackers, and you got the last draft pick quarterback. What makes them so unique? Oh, look at that. Look at Vegas. Hallelujah. Look at that. I never been to Vegas. I've never been to Vegas.
Me neither.
You in LA though, right, Don? Where you?
Vegas got some of my money.
Talk about the 49ers on West.
The Niners have enough weapons that it doesn't have to put enough pressure on what probably is going to be the MVP. Not because of his outstanding play, but because he's surrounded by talent. He's got McCaffrey, and he's got three receivers that can play. And at the end of the day, we've all played with people, and we all know this: the more weapons you have, the easier it is to play the game. When you have that much talent around you, you don't have to work as hard. So his job is to just manage the deal and get it to his playmakers. Now, on the other hand, we don't underestimate the other guy on the other side under the center.
Oh.
Okay. But to me, I just think that their problem is this: stop the run. If you stop Kansas City's run, all they're going to simply do is go in and out on his tight end, and when they go in and out on Kelsey and they've stopped the run, the only thing he's got left realistically is Rice. Unless our homeboy,
but you got a kid from Florida.
wake up, unless our alumni can wake up.
What about Tony? Who can't catch
I said, unless our alumni can wake up and shake off the madness and understand he's playing on the world's biggest stage, as you guys said, he can make a real name for himself. Really, this game, because everybody's picking the Niners.
What about your receiver from Florida, Tony, number 19? He's been sporadic. I know when he was with the Giants, he showed some brightness, but then when he got to Kansas City, he got relaxed. I mean, he hasn't done what I expect him to be a Florida Gator guy.
Well, I think all these guys that have played the game of receiver, you know, when you have a bad year, what you do the next 6 months, season's over, you go to work, not on the things that you're good at, but the things that you like to improve on. And if receiving, you don't catch with your hands, you catch with your eyes. Simple. If you can't see it, you can't catch it. Yeah. It's plain as day. You can't have any run after the catch because you can do all of that unless you secure the ball. Eyes to the tuck. See it hit your hands, see yourself tuck it away, then do what God has given you the gift to do. But you got to catch the ball first. And, he's an alumni. I love him to death as a player. But I've marveled at Ricky. I've marveled at Ernie. I've had the opportunity to be there in Dallas with Ernie. And I know your dad, John, real well because he was there with Nat at BCC. But we all know that we have to call it as we see it.
That's right.
He's been inconsistent in the things that he's done. How you line up off sides?
And then the lateral.
But how do you line up off sides?
You could tell the hands just turned back with you right there.
Right? I mean, you guys know that, right? You got 3 other receivers on here, and there ain't nowhere in hell you're not going to be conscious of the line of scrimmage.
Period.
Yeah, it's too many. I've had coaches tell me to move up some, make sure I'm not offside.
Yeah. I may be in the backfield, but I'm not going to be off.
I'm not going to be offside.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
That's just called lack of focus.
Yeah. That's fundamental, man. That's 101.
Like I said, and to me, it's fundamentals, guys. And I'm gonna shut up. But at the end of the day, I mean, they got him. They got here without him.
Right.
Now, if he shows up, as I said, he's on the world's biggest stage. The world is going to be watching.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
and he's got a chance to rectify and redeem himself.
And
Because
he's probably
going
to do it. He's probably going to do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part about it.
Yeah,
He's probably going to have that big play that's going to make the difference. He knows. I got to do something.
Is he mature enough to shake off the fact that, well, he didn't play and he's got this video out there? Is that going to get the best of him, or is he going to come to play and be a real baller?
Right.
Yeah.
Is he mature enough to put that behind him and say, you know what, I got an opportunity here?
Yep. Game on.
Yeah. Well, he seems to be a gamer. He missed a lot of time. He battles injuries every year. So.
Okay.
Oh, and he scored a touchdown. He made a big punt return in the Super Bowl last year. I mean, so he got the ability to do it.
Okay. All right. Right now it's 7:07 in Las Vegas. The night before everybody who plays football want to play in the Super Bowl. The night before the Super Bowl, Rick, you got locked out, so you can't answer this. You ain't really get to really.
Hey!
You in the hallway.
I had another chance, but go ahead.
Got a touchdown. We got a touchdown.
Ernie got to get in the bed. Got to take a shower. He got on the phone.
Hey,
already.
I'm about to go to bed for sure. That was so.
Antonio, you played in the one in Dallas, right?
Yeah, Austin.
You played with my boy Nick Collins from Bethune-Cookman.
Yep. Nick had an interception too.
Yep, he took it. Okay, Ernie, Rick, you can't answer this because you was in the hallway till 4:00 in the morning.
I played in 2 Super Bowls. I got a report.
Oh, you had another chance. Okay, so you had two nights before the game. Tell us about both nights. The second night. Not the first night. We know about the first night. Tell us about the second night.
I'm good.
You played in San Diego the first game. Where you played the second game at?
New Orleans. The second,
Lord.
I was in New Orleans.
He was on the fifth quarter. Hey, he was out there, Wes. He was out there on the fifth quarter somewhere. All right, tell us about the second night, the night before the game, when you guys played in the Superdome. Rick?
Okay, the second night?
The one you played in New Orleans. What was it like the night before the game?
See, now
you was in the room?
See, listen, now I'm an experienced vet now. See, hey, I got 2 years in the league now. I'm good. Got no women, got no nothing. I'm
no women.
2 hours before curfew. I'm ready. I'm resting. I'm running through all the plays in my mind because, like I said, I'm getting the reprieve. We got beat the first one. Doug Williams, first black quarterback is kind of like, one of those bittersweets. It's kind of like, but damn, Doug, why you had to do it to be my first chance? It was bittersweet. But I had a chance to stand there on the sideline and watch Doug do his thing, like, front row seat, So it was bittersweet, but history was made, and I can actually say I stood there and watched him make history. As bad as it was for us losing, I was able to watch history be made for the first black quarterback. So I thought that was awesome. But again, you don't think about that then because we just got our butts beat. Like that. Then Super Bowl 24, I was in, a little more experience. Unfortunately for me, in that game, I was injured. I had a cracked patella. It's one of those kind of injuries where you just play through it because you're gonna get the surgery in the off season. But again, like I said, I'm in my room, the whole week, I'm focused because, you don't get these opportunities too often, so again, I'm locked, I'm loaded, I'm focused. I know I'm playing with an injury, but at the same time, I know we're gladiators. That's what we're used to. So playing, you play when you're hurt, not when you're injured. That's what they tell us, right? So I guess I was hurt, but I was really injured because I had surgery after that. So, but then again, got my rest. Unfortunately, we played the 49ers and, Jerry Rice and the boy, they just did their thing, so it was nothing we can do. Again, we were out, man. They were just a better team. So I had 2 chances.
Oh, he gone. Okay, Antonio. Yeah. All right, Antonio. You're lying in the bed in Arlington, Texas somewhere, thinking about being homeless, sleeping in them cars you slept in, not graduating from high school, going to UL Lafayette, then going to Nicholls State, even the JUCO route, going to Chicago Bears. Now you with the Packers today for the Super Bowl. What was your thought?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I was pretty much shocked that we was going out to the club. I was, because I'm young at this point. I'm thinking everything was more like, but I guess a lot of these guys, they veterans. A lot of them guys done been there, done that. So it's almost like everybody just hit everybody up. Hey, this is where we hanging out at. And then Pittsburgh, them dudes is. I remember seeing some guys. I'm talking about top dogs, man, while I was in the club. So it kind of shocked me though, because my whole life I always about discipline and working hard. So when I saw it, I was like, wow, this what the NFL about. So it kind of shocked me though. But to answer your question, far as like, it didn't hit me until after we won the Super Bowl. And I'm gonna be honest, I think we actually got our ring size before the Super Bowl. We kind of knew, like it was a lot of confidence that whole week. Like we just knew we was gonna beat Pittsburgh. A lot of confidence. A lot of people saying, "Yeah, man, them DB sorry, the only person they got is Troy Polamalu. That's it. Everybody else." So, and we had a live receiver core, Donald Driver, Greg Jennings, James Jones, Jordy Nelson. So, and then of course, we had Aaron Rodgers. So, um, it was just a lot of confidence, man. We kind of knew we was gonna win, and when we got back on that flight, man, I cried because I felt like for the very first time, like I finally heard that yes, you know what I'm saying. So it hit me real hard, but it was tears of joy. It wasn't like sadness.
Mm. JB, I've had a couple of people, I ain't gonna call their names, tell me that you are an intelligent football player. In that, you intimidated some of your coaches because of your knowledge of the game. How was that? How do you navigate through that?
I think the good thing about it is like I always, for the most part of my career, I've had some coaches that have changed the game. And it's like when you grow up in that culture, you at the University of Florida. Um, these guys recruited you, since you were, 14 years old. Uh, you get used to something, So I got used to working hard. I got used to the standard being the standard. Like Antonio was just saying, like, seeing guys out, like, in the club and all that stuff. Super Bowl going. Like for me, I couldn't have, been out because the way I was raised was, we got a job to do. When the job done and we finish doing what we got to do, then, we can have our fun. But until then, it's about business. And I think that's one thing why, I was able to play as long as I did, because of what I had upstairs. I didn't just have it, physically. I was a player on defense that never had to come off the field. I always called the plays, and the coaches kind of referred to me as another coach out on the field because of how fast I could process things, and play different positions. Like when I played in a 3-4, I played in a 4-3, and I remember like when I was in Chicago, we played a 4-3. I never came off the field, and depending on the personnel and who came in the game, depending on what position I played. So for me to be able to call the plays and do everything that I was able to do, make all the checks, line everybody up. If I see two linebackers running the game, and depending on who those two were, I might be at the mic, I might be at the wheel, I might be at the Sam. So it's like me being able to flip the defense around, doing stuff like that, but also understanding sometimes we might have a mismatch where, coach told me I'm supposed to be at the mic, but if I know my wheel can't cover and coach accidentally, blurt out cover one, do I leave him over there on his own? Or do I put him in the hole and, let me go take the coverage, and live to see the next day? So just being able to kind of do that, I think is one of my strengths that I've always had. My dad always, forced me to do that, from a young kid. I had to call the plays. My dad probably put me on the bench more than anybody y'all don't know. I used to always be pissed off at my dad because every year I came out there,
Me, JB Long, man. JB know what he was doing.
man, I used to put me
That's
at
my rope
fullback.
them.
Put me at fullback. He would only give me the ball once a game. And I'm like, man, we losing out here. Like, give me the ball. He said, man, you my son. Like, I ain't giving you the ball. You want the ball, block. You want the ball on defense. Go take it from somebody. And it's like, damn. Like, but it's that I think everything that I've been through, I think was an amazing journey. To be able to, play under Charlie Strong and Will Muschamp, Dan Quinn, where they turned around when everybody kind of started getting to this Seattle type of defense, and Parcell, how this defense kind of evolved. It's like I love the tree that I grew up under. Because a lot of people they like the game of football, but they don't really understand the history of it. So just hearing some of you guys talk, some of the history on the game is that's stuff that I enjoy. Like, I'm a historian when it comes, to that stuff. So obviously that I played with under Muschamp. Muschamp came from under Saban. Saban came from under Belichick. Belichick came under Parcell. And it's like you start looking at these trees and you start seeing, Wes, you were talking about, the 5 wide receivers. Like a lot of teams getting all this stuff now, and it's like, this stuff that's been around the game. It's been around the game for a long time. People start, in high school, they starting to get in these, 4x1 sets, and I remember my little brother's high school coach, like, oh my God, like I've never seen this before. Like, this is just, it's so new. And I'm like, this ain't new. I remember watching, filming this when I was little when Jerry Rice was at, Mississippi Valley, and they were airing the ball out. Like, it's, I think that's what kind of drew me to the game, how I did and the approach that I took, because I love the history of the game. But I love like the chess match and stuff that comes in between.
Ernie, you played in an organization, man, that's structured so well, from the owner all the way down, even to the head coach being there for almost 20 years. How did that change your life, Ernie, from playing under that kind of? Because I know Bruce told me a lot about playing with the Steelers. So how was it playing with the Steelers?
Well, it was great because when I first got there, my rookie year was Chuck Noll.
Chuck Noll?
Chuck Noll.
You played with Chuck Noll?
I played 1 year under Chuck Noll, 4 Super Bowl champ Chuck Noll. And the difference in coaching. So at Galen Hall, then I see Spurrier for a year, and I go right into Chuck Noll. So this in itself. And Chuck didn't like Chuck didn't, so he like about me. Maybe he want to draft me, but it didn't really matter. But I was special. I led the special team. So that's how I got a 3rd round pick, but I made a team on special teams. And so Chuck he had to appreciate that. But the most impressive guy on that staff, and we all know him, and that was Mean Joe Green.
Mean Joe.
Yes. I can remember I ran into the punt return. I was covering the kick. The previous time it was Brian Mitchell. So I'm covering the kick. I break down too early. You break down too early, Brian Mitchell, guys like that, you're not going to touch him. So I didn't touch him. He ran by me. Chuck pulled me to the side, say, don't break down. Run through him. So I go up the next time, and I know him early. But I ran through him anyway. Ran right through him. Flags everywhere. The flags hit me on the back. I come to the sideline, Chuck going off on me. And then, like, Mean Joe's a big dude. So Mean Joe says, hey, come here. That's what I'm thinking. So he comes up, he said, that's the way to fucking hit somebody. I love that shit. Yeah, so it was a different vibe from both head coach and you got Mean Joe. That's the legend, the best all time. So, you getting that avenue. So I knew there was different things that I can get away with coming into the league. And then my next year it's Bill Cowher. Bill's defensive guy, but Bill loves me because I'm playing special teams. I'm running down covering tackles, and he loves that. He was a special, so and his coaching style, and John, you brought up Belichick and Parcells. Well, Belichick was the head coach of the Browns, and Nate Saban was the DC there. Well,
a lot of people don't know that.
Under Cowher was the OC and a longtime coach with Bill Parcells, and Ron Earhart. So it had a hell of a running attack. His running game was great. And but we didn't make to the Super Bowl. Talk about 5 wide. We didn't make the Super Bowl until we get Cordell and start running 5 wides. So Cowher was a guy who would adjust his coaching style. They're very disciplined. You talk about the Super Bowl the day before the game. We didn't stay at the hotel. We stayed in all week. They took us to some place. I don't know where we was at. That was Cowher. So Cowher's mentality is lock everything down, treat everything almost like college, night for the game, that kind of stuff. Chuck's mentality was, y'all grown men. Be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be. And so that's the difference in coaching styles. Get a grasp of that, man. That was, but Kyle was great, man. That's my guy. So Kyle was great. And then I had 1 year with Dom Capers in Carolina. And then which is different. That was a country club down in Carolina. And then I go my last 2 in Dallas. And Chan Gailey, who played at Florida, he was at Florida.
Chan Gailey.
Yeah, Chan Gailey. Coach Ricky, too, at wide receiver. But he was my receiver coach 94, 95, OC 96. And then he got a head job in Dallas in 98, 99. That's how I ended up in Dallas. I mean, that was my guy. I knew that offense, like the back of my hand. And the last thing before I was playing receiver, when I moved to receiver, basically, I redshirted at corner. My first 6 years was a different offensive coordinator.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was learning the game. So once I got to the same 6 years, it was a piece of cake. I could play and allow me to get better each game. That's why I like when they do all these turnovers with coordinators, especially coordinators. When you change the whole system, and you can play well, but that second year you're gonna be better at it. It's just
okay.
Yeah.
All right. I talked to Bruce McNorton today. Hey,
Did you?
his
Yeah,
place looking good, dog. He doing overtime work in there. And I told him I was doing a podcast tonight, and he said that he wanted to invite JB. He gonna let JB know, and he gonna let Antonio know, and Rick, his football camp that he always does, that you always come to.
Yeah.
He gonna invite you guys to Daytona. Wes, I know I'm sending you my address because I need some of them grapes that you got from the vineyards.
You got it.
But we want to put together something where we can all get to JB. You know Daytona like the back of your hand. You grew up here. Antonio, I want to bring you here. Like I said, I'm gonna talk to your kid. Watch this. I told you the story about Antonio's son was in my class in 2nd grade. And he told me, my daddy played pro football. Like, get the hell out of here. Go on there and play kickball somewhere. And then I Googled it, and I met Antonio after school at the bus stop. His son now plays where?
He's at Wake Forest now.
He's at Wake Forest. I called him the other night. He go, who is this? This Coach Nat. He's like, who? I said, Coach Nat, you're 2nd grade. I don't remember you. I had to go back in my phone and found a picture of me when I taught school back in 2004. And show me, I remember you now. But I want to bring you to Daytona. We're gonna bring JB. Ernie know where I live. Ernie been to my house. Yeah. He'll been all in my bathroom stinking it up. But we want to bring you guys here.
I got a stomach in my stomach. I gotta go.
You gotta go. Hey, Ernie Daddy had a case of Will I Run.
That's right. While I rode.
We drunk that case of Will I Run in the whole week. I got a picture of you and I sitting in my front yard by the trailer.
Oh yeah.
But I got some stuff coming up in March the 9th. If you can get to Daytona March the 9th, it's bike week, and I have a show that I'm gonna do on stage in the road. I got singers, I do a little open mic stuff. But if you guys can come, we can hang out, go to Bethune Grill, do some stuff. Wes, you can come look at the new facility. I know Wes ain't coming this way, but you come look at the new facility. A lot of stuff Coach at Bethune has done. But I want to invite you guys back. But I love you guys coming on. Matter of fact, I gotta go now to the cafe and for spoken word. It's what 10:30. We having spoken word tonight. But I love all you guys. Wes, I'm gonna talk to you because I need some stuff, man. Because last stuff you gave me from the nozzle, I'm through with that. I need some more stuff, man. Because I can't even drive a car now.
I'm gonna take care of
I
all
don't
this.
even drive. I ride a scooter to work. I can't drive a car because
take
of
care of
my
that.
injuries.
Quality of life is important.
Yep. So I love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all coming on. You've been watching the locker room, the pros for the Super Bowl. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.